Oh, hello. You just caught me reflecting on my instructional design 684 class, Design and Instruction of Online Learning. I'd love to share my thoughts with you about it. So here we go. Let's just walk through it week by week and talk about the content and then kind of my reflection on everything. So first we started with social presence and learner-learner, which, let's say the big word, group work, otherwise known as learner-learner interaction. And I have to admit, I'm one of those people who normally dreaded group work. I always turn out to be the leader, and I always turn out to do more work than everyone else in the group. But here's the thing. Throughout this program in instructional design, where we've had adult learners, A, invested in the program, probably paying a lot, and B, really interested in the material already, group work has been a huge benefit and a huge plus for me. So where I normally just kind of dreaded it, but I would do it anyway, now I notice when a class doesn't have that learner-learner interaction. It's something that I really look forward to, and something that I found really was that extra oomph that I needed in each of the classes. And as I mentioned before, classes that didn't have it, I definitely felt like something was lacking. Cognitive presence or learner content. So this for me is something that I as a learner get overwhelmed with. So especially the content piece. When I open up a web page or something in Blackboard and there's just a lot of content that I'm supposed to get through as a learner, I feel completely overwhelmed. I don't know where to start, and I kind of lose my motivation a little bit. So I'm hyper aware of the learner content role, responsibility, and importance here. And especially I don't like poorly executed content or poorly curated content. So this was a good opportunity for me to really dig a little deeper as far as why and then what goes into it and why it's so important. I think a lot of times what we're used to is just learner content. I know at my organization, a lot of it is cognitive presence. Here's the information, digest it, and you're responsible for everything else. And that's just way too heavy emphasis on this. But now I know that learner content interaction can really be exciting, can really be fun if it's done right, which takes us to teaching presence. So the role of a teacher versus a facilitator or an instructor and what that means, and how the facilitator can really supplement the learner content interaction and what the role of facilitator is. I think going into this, I thought I wanted to be a teacher, and now I definitely see myself more as a facilitator. So approaching an online environment, which hopefully one day I will teach or facilitate, I know that I am there to do just that, is to be that missing link in between all three of these issues. So not so much instructing like we're used to in elementary school, standing at the front in the blackboard, or nowadays, I guess it's your Google Chromebook, I don't know. But really facilitating the discussion and facilitating the learner-learner engagement and the engagement with the content too is huge. So the learner facilitator to me really sets the tone, as well as the LMS or the learning management system. So my experience was with Blackboard Learn. I've also used Edmodo, which I was not impressed with. The one we have in my organization is pretty unimpressive and, nothing you'd write home about, but this really gave me an opportunity to dig a little deeper and explore. And actually during the discussion week, I took a look at Moodle, I think, and Schoology, which are kind of the same. And again, I wasn't really impressed with them, but then for my final project, because of the feedback and the discussion posts about LMS from other people, I decided to use Canvas, and I really enjoyed it. It was really intuitive. It was really easy. It was easy to share. Hopefully, you saw that, Rebecca. and where to put things and the different functions of it. So I think going over LMS to begin with had me looking for what I needed to accomplish my objectives. So I think I imagined it as your LMS came first, and then your content and your facilitation came next. But really, this course overall stressed that everything is chosen for a reason. And the next thing that we got into was critical design or critical instruction design. And everything is for a reason, right down to whether you use blue or black ink, some might say. So how many clicks, where it was placed, the frequency of videos, the length of the videos or the duration, everything is for a reason. And there was one week where somebody asked Rebecca a question, and she said, yeah, I do that normally to make students XYZ, which forces them to, I should have looked it up for this reflection, but just the fact that every single decision was made from a critical instruction design perspective, and conceptually, it all flows together to create the end, which is the online presence and the online learning. So everything's done for a reason. And so now I'm really sensitive. It's almost like I know enough, just enough to be dangerous. I'm really sensitive to classes that I'm in that are doing it wrong, and really excited when I see a class that's doing it right. So the first week of our peer teaching was web, and that concentrated mostly on privacy, which was an engaging discussion, I think, and definitely an open, and especially with net neutrality and the news and everything. So that was an interesting topic, but I'm not sure it particularly influenced my online learning design. But the next week was quizzes and authentic assessments, which, this is why I got into this field, is to think outside of the box and break the mold kind of thing. And this course definitely gave you the bandwidth to do that within our teaching weeks, and then even more so in our final projects. And I really like the authentic assessments week because it questioned you to think outside of the box. I hate that saying. But to think of a way to really challenge your students to meet the objective without really telling them right or wrong, right? So a multiple choice question is right or wrong, but is it really engaging your students? And for some kinds of learning, yes, the answer is yes, it is the right apparatus or tool for assessment. But for me, I want to stress, I'm a brain dump kind of person, at least in undergrad and in training off at my job, I am. I go through the training and then I'll brain dump at the end. And so these authentic assessments really make sure that the student is benefiting. It's not just about checking the box or getting the GPA, but that the material is used later on. And I think that's something that's so missed so frequently. Sure, we meet our objectives, but have those really been met 2 days later? And an authentic assessment is a way to do that. So I hope my project, it was fun to do. I understood so much more coming out of it. Putting it all, you can think you have an idea for this training class, and putting it down on paper surely is one thing. But when I was working on in Canvas, I found, that doesn't really work. And when I watched a couple of videos of, how to build your course in Canvas. And it was like, just print out your plan, pop it in there, and you're good to go. And I found that my plan didn't really translate as well. So that's probably something that comes with doing this a lot. You find out kind of what works better as opposed to what might be a little bit more confusing. So, I just wanted to jump in there. And module 1, I wanted to be informative with my topic, but it needs to have welcome to Canvas. Here's how to use your tool. And something I learned in 605 too was however much time you think it's going to take you, it's going to take more. So you can budget, 20 hours for 4 modules. It's going to take you 40. So I definitely had that in the back of my mind. And I had the reverse too, as far as from a learner perspective. Whatever I thought I was posting was going to take 20 minutes, it was probably going to take my learner 40 minutes just to kind of digest and get through everything. So as I said it with the authentic assessments week, I think those are phenomenal. I think that's a much better way of learning, of enhancing learning, and of course an assessment. Let's just hope I did it well. And so I really appreciated the final project. The only thing I will say is, shame on me for not thinking of this, but if there's some way to link the teaching week information with what you do in your final project, it would be so much more robust, right? So I already have week 1 done. I could kind of set the tone with my group and then carry it through 3 other modules or 4 other modules. Or even as a group, continue to work on that same week or lesson or topic. And then you really get this fully fleshed out, robust product, as opposed to just little old me putting my ideas in there, getting some feedback, but really not blowing it out as much as I really could have, should have, or wanted to. So this will be a good practice for me. Next semester is my capstone, and I'm working with an organization that does not have online learning, and they are looking to, what is the word? They are looking to move their classroom courses and migrate them into an online university. And that's me, that I'll be doing that. I will be doing design and instruction of online learning. So I'm familiar with an LMS, and at the end of my capstone, I'm responsible for presenting them with a pilot. So all of these skills will completely pull out and take to there. You did mention one other thing. I did not buy the textbook. We have a previous textbook. I believe it's from 640. It's called e-learning design, e-learning something or other. I can send it to you. I used that book as a backup. I did online research. I did not read. I did the optional readings. I did not read anything from the textbook. Maybe I blew my cover there. But anyway, thank you so much. I look forward to hopefully running into you again in the ID field. And good luck and Happy New Year. Thanks.